that's kind of another conversation though, like maybe for another day. I don't know. We're just talking about what we're talking about at this point. Because I feel, another thing I feel like, let me hit the, just in case something nice comes up. Another thing I feel like is that because there was so nothing but don't do it, like we didn't go through what would be considered a normal sexual development and exploration.
Yeah. Right.
So like, okay, so I'm a counselor, as I said at the beginning, and I became a counselor at seminary. I went to seminary. And so we had, I elected to take a human sexuality class because I'm just about this. And I was really curious to see what human sexuality would be like at a seminary. Man, let me tell you something. Those, and then, so this just adds another layer because I don't know if it's culture or whatever. Let me tell you something about white Christians, honey. They enjoy themselves.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
They don't need nobody
else at all.
Nobody. But like if you look at literature, obviously not necessarily specific to Christianity, to the church, but just like a normal human development, like across the lifespan. There is a point where sexual exploration is normal. So like, you know, you always hear, you might hear people joke of like they walked in on their son playing with it, or like, you know, whatever like that. That was so clear, far off of my radar to like be touching and like whatever. And I'm still funny about it. Like I'm still like, you know, sometimes, you know, teamwork make the dream work, but I'm like, I can't do it. So, but I feel like that was because it was such like a
no.
Yeah, everything about sex was just like, no,
don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I feel like that was I missed out on like the normal, like I said, the normal sexual exploration that would have benefited me as a married person to have a level of comfortability with my body that I just don't have.
I think the church has always told you to have a long skirt on, pull up your, you know, make sure your blouse is up to your, wear your pantyhose. So we've always been taught to look a certain way, and we've never been taught that it's okay to look sexy. It's okay, and you can be sexy and saved. Hello, you can be sexy and saved, and there's a time and a place for all of that. And I think that had to develop as I was an adult Christian. Like, okay, wait a minute, I do look good. Wait, ooh, short skirt, girl, look at legs, because it was always like, no. Below the knee, like no, because our job was to make sure no man looked at us and was tempted by us, even though if they were just nasty, they was just nasty. It didn't matter what you had on, they didn't care. You know what I'm saying?
Two toes for the fetish.
Right.
That's it. Yes. 2 toe neck.
And like I had a different story from you than you as far as sexual exploration, because in college I had this whole awakening thing that happened because we did vagina monologues. So I'm like, okay, like people talk about their vaginas, like they talk about them like for real. And they have stories, and I'm like, and I actually was in vagina monologues, and I was in Coochie Chronicles, and it was very enlightening and very freeing, like to say, okay, I am a female, I do have sexual feelings, and God did give me these feelings. Now, the way that I express them or show them, that's where the line gets a little blurry, you know. But it's something natural, and I think a lot of times the church is like, no, don't do it, and it suppresses what is something that is supposed to be so very natural and so very second nature. I think we should be able to feel free walking around with no clothes on. But it's like, because we've been so shamed to have on and cover up and you know, head to toe. Like, I'm surprised we don't have doilies on our head and tennis shoes and blue jean skirts on still, because it's a lot of, it's been a lot of cover. Yeah, I know. Just, you know, I thank God for deliverance.
Thank God for the deliverance.
And then it's like your body doesn't even get to be a body. It's like it's like a weird incongruent message. Because on one hand, don't do it. We ain't gonna say nothing else to you about it besides don't do it. On the other hand, our bodies are sexualized so early.
Yeah.
As soon as you get a little
Curve.
you got to cover that up.
Yeah.
You got to
That's the thing too,
Don't come
because
back.
my Sunday school teacher could have gave me a tutorial. Because I mean, thank God, you know, talent will bring you through.
Tutorial on what?
Natural talent.
Natural.
Wait,
Natural.
what are we
Tutorial
talking
on
about?
what?
We
sis?
talking about Superhead doing what she did.
She wasn't.
I've never
she wasn't-
seen it.
She wasn't that super though.
Okay, well, it is. I've never seen it, so I don't know. But I learned. I taught myself.
Yeah, me too.
Self-taught.
And-
Come on.
Yes.
Self-taught.
Yes.
Girl.
I'm pretty much
I think I'm
self-taught.
pretty
No.
good at it too.
I'm self-taught. But I remember.
You had lessons.
No. I didn't have lessons. I didn't have lessons because I remember the first time it happened. I remember the person like, wow. Like,
Honey,
I was like this.
church girl.
Yeah.
Now, was
Right.
it?
No.
We deserve, girl. We
No,
don't care about
right.
the balls. We don't
Yeah.
care. We're just doing it all
Listen.
because we don't know.
When it comes to that moment for real of intimacy, I have always felt like this, and I'm pretty sure I will always feel like this, and my husband is grateful for this feeling that I have, that there is nothing on
Off
your
limits.
body off limits.
Yeah.
Like there is no, I mean, a touch, a lick, a caress, whatever it is, a kiss, there is nothing. You belong
So
to
what were
me.
your expectations for marriage? Based on like what you knew about sex, like however you came. No, not however you came to know about it, but based on when you think of like healthy sexuality between a husband and wife, what were your expectations like going into marriage?
I thought we were gonna have sex every day.
Every day.
Every day.
All day.
To the point where I was counting the days that we had sex in a row after we got married, and we got to day 11,
Yes.
and there was no sex, and I cried
Yes.
because I just thought there was something wrong with me.
Yeah.
I thought that, oh my gosh, he doesn't want to have sex with me. Oh my God, I'm not turning him on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like why? Like I just thought like, and I was so ready because they taught like, give yourself to your husband.
Right.
So I was so ready, whether I was in the mood or not, but I have been celibate for so many years. I was like, oh, I'm always gonna be in the mood.
Always,
Like,
right.
no
Hey,
matter
friend.
what. I'm in the mood. So I just was ready to like give myself to his every desire and want. And when day 12 came, and it was like we had had sex 11 days straight, and when day 12 came, and I'm like, it ain't even been 2 weeks. He was like, all right, I ain't on it today.
Right.
And I'm like, but why? Because
Right.
even in church, like I remember like Pastor kind of talking about how men are super sexual and
Right.
they need it. I mean, he was talking about his experiences and how men need it a couple times a week and every day, and when it's they're struggling when you're on your menstrual cycle and they can't get it. And I'm like, oh my God, and I don't want to. I'm like,
Yeah.
We don't want him to struggle.
I was offering myself like, babe, I know I'm on the rag, but he was like, no, don't come nowhere near me, right? Like day after. I don't want no. I always say, I just got a trickle. I don't want the trickle.
It's okay. Bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh.
It's all right.
I'll take that out. I'll take that out.
That was a good laugh. Because y'all know I can relate.
But I did, so I felt like a big old letdown
Tears.
because I had failed. I feel like, oh my
Yeah.
God, as a woman, I feel like my husband didn't desire me.
Right.
But we had to come to a place where it's a beautiful place to get to with your spouse, where you talk about expectation. You talk about how much you need, how much. Like I just thought everything was going to be the same for everybody. And that's not true. There is no formula for marriage. There's no formula for your sexual life. None of that. There's parenting, nothing. Everybody's everything is different. So we had to get to a place where if we hadn't had sex all week and we were good, it was okay.
Yeah, right.
There was nothing wrong with us. So that was definitely my expectation when it came to sex. And this whole idea, I don't know if we're going here, about female orgasm. I thought that had to happen every time, and I thought that I didn't even know, like, okay, how do I do this?
Come home.
I'm like, wait, is he not doing it right? Is he not?
Right.
Like, so
Yeah.
that whole idea, and the idea of wanting wanting
Yeah.
to have an orgasm.
Yeah.
Right.
So just kind of thinking like, okay, it's about him. Like, let him do his thing, get off, and maybe next time. Maybe
Yeah.
next time. So I kind of conditioned myself to feel like, okay, well, I'm good. Like, I'm good. Not knowing that left him feeling like he didn't get it.
Yeah.
That he didn't
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
So those
Definitely.
that was like that double standard, like, oh, they just want to get on and get off.
Yeah.
But really, my husband was like, if you didn't enjoy yourself, it takes away.
From
Right.
from the
From
whole right.
So those
Right.
are certain things that we kind of was doing.
Yeah.
Then I feel like with that though, the pendulum can swing too far to the other side, where then it's just that.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, okay, I gotta have an orgasm.
Yes. Yes.
Or I just don't know what's gonna happen. Like I don't, something's wrong with me. I have a diagnosis. Like I don't know.
Right.
Like I feel like it swung from, like you said, like first of all, I was totally expecting to have sex every single solitary day,
Yeah.
and then the one time we probably had been married like 2 weeks, and I was like, my husband was at a rehearsal, and we were talking on FaceTime, and he was like, "You want to invite your brothers over tonight?" And I was like, "My brothers?" To
Nah.
do what?
For what?
And I was like, babe, I want to have sex every day. I think we should do it every day. He was like, every day? So it was that like learning curve of like, no, you what?
Right.
Like, okay, it is the expectation of like you turn it on and it's on.
Yeah.
Like, and you don't never turn it off. It's like you stored it all up for this time, and then you just have to be like an open vessel. But then it's like, I feel like sometimes the messages are still geared so much towards the men,
Yeah.
the husband. So then it's like you're trying to orgasm for him,
Right.
Yeah.
like not even orgasm like for yourself,
Right.
like because I want to enjoy this. It's like, well, I want you to feel good about yourself. I don't want you
Yeah.
feeling
You
like,
right.
You working.
yeah, yeah, right.
You did.
I mean, getting it right. And they are.
And they are.
You are. And they are.
Listen, ladies,
Ain't no
down.
complaints now.
Okay.
We just talking about what we talking about.
Okay.
Listen, ladies.
We just talking about what we talking
We just talking about what we talking about.
Yes, sir.
Ain't no complaints.
This
Ain't
ain't
no
right,
complaints.
please.
So
Yeah.
this ain't right. This ain't
This ain't,
that.
this ain't good at all.
Like it home.
Right. But
Yeah.
I'm just speaking of like how it's like the message flips from don't do it, don't do it, don't do it to like
Do it.
do it right.
Yeah.
And not just do it, but do it to make sure your husband is okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So he
So-
won't cheat.
So he
Yes.
won't cheat.
Yes.
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 So he won't
Because
cheat.
you
And
gotta
if
talk
you
about that.
take no, because it's under the blood. If you know or have been a cheater, that's under the blood.
Yes.
There's a number to call at the bottom of the
Yeah.
If you
need help.
Hellfires. I mean, under the blood.
Right.
But I used to feel like the responsibility of the man's purity was somehow at the end of the day back on us.
Yeah.
So whether that be covering ourselves up
Yep.
before we were married, or whether that is making sure our husbands are totally satisfied
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time as a wife,
Yeah.
so that they don't do something
Yeah.
Yeah.
impure. And it's like,
Yeah, and I think the thing is about that is that we, at least for me, to completely relate with y'all, when I first got married, I was like, oh, it's go time. And I thought it was go time for my husband. Like, it was like, oh, I can't even wait. He's not even gonna be ready for what I'm about to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I didn't realize, I can remember specifically, there was a time on our honeymoon, we went on a cruise literally the day after the wedding. And we went on the honeymoon, and they had like all these activities and events, and me and my husband got chosen to play the newlywed game on the cruise. And the first question they asked was, congratulations on getting married, hope you're having a good time. Now tell us, how many times have you and your husband had sex this far?
What?
And I was excited to answer.
Girl.
It was our third day, okay? It was like the top of the third day, like maybe 10 a.m. or something. I was like 13. And I was so happy. Like, I was so happy. But
Come
I
on,
didn't realize.
13.
Listen, you see how I was
13.
doing it?
Go
But
ahead.
this
girl,
is the
you had
thing.
some lunch.
Right.
Yo,
Right.
you was conditioning for that, okay? She was
No.
running around.
But the thing
She
is,
said,
I
I'm
didn't
ready.
Divided by
That was
3.
right. Did he get the question right though?
I don't remember I want to say he did, but I don't remember. But I have a videotape. But I didn't realize until we got done, because I was so excited that I felt like as a wife I was pleasing my husband. I didn't realize that the majority of them 13 times was me like wanting to,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And it was like nobody prepared me for my sexual desires, like the height of my
Yeah.
sexual desires.
Yeah.
Like they had prepared me for his.
Right.
And I was like, all right, I can do this. I feel like I'm gonna push myself, even if I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a I don't feel like it at that time. And I know I was only 3 days in, but I mean, even for quite a time to come, there was no
Yeah.
I don't feel like it. And I think it was, nobody prepared me for, well, I know my mindset if I don't feel like it, but what if he doesn't feel like it and I do?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
And like, do I initiate? Do I not? Do I just lay back and let the man be the man? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
just give him his time to recuperate. But, you know, like nobody taught me how to honor myself and my like
Yeah.
desires and my sexuality in marriage. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was just making sure that he is pleased, like you said, number 1, so he doesn't cheat. Number 2, so you keep your vows, you know what I mean?
Right.
Number 3, so your womanhood is secure in how good of a wife you are. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right.
so, yeah, you know, it's tough.
I think, like for me, I got a whole bunch of double-sided things. I remember the awkwardness of being at my bridal shower and having like church people there and having lingerie, and I just felt so uncomfortable in like them saying that finally I was going to be officially before, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. But I would be like sexually active, and I just
Yeah.
remember feeling like, you know, I know I'm not a virgin, but now it's official that
Yeah.
you know,
Everybody knows.
everybody knows,
Right.
right? So I mean, I remember feeling that uncomfortableness, and I'm not even a shy person like that. And one of the games that they played at my shower was to make lingerie out of tissue, and I seen how these church ladies had got down with the get down making this lingerie and was having a great old time and a ball. And so a part of me was like, okay, I've always felt ashamed, and not specifically those people made me feel ashamed, but I've always felt like the church wasn't the place where they allowed you to understand that sex was okay, even within marriage. It's fine in marriage, but to have a sexual freedom with your husband, because even now there's still some sort of, you know, funniness about certain things that you do with your husband and the